First round action is scheduled for 12. Reggie Johnson, who won the championship in April against Stevie Collins. And that was the last time he has fought. His first defense comes at home against Lamar Parks, the #1 contender. Parks takes a slapping right hand. And Parks so far in his first round, very controlled, very patient, not looking to overslug, which could get him in trouble with the savvy Reggie Johnson.
One of the things that I was very concerned about coming into this match was that Parks would go out and blow everything that he had in the first few rounds. It appears as though he is quite patient in this opening round. You get so fired up, so excited for a big fight, and this one for everything, for all the marbles, for the championship of the world. You want to go out and you want to do the very best that you can. Sometimes that works in your disadvantage.
Inside 10 seconds left in round #1. The challenger, Lamar Parks, hearing from his dad, his trainer, David.
Run the combination. Do 3-way. Okay, now get up now. Get up. Get up. Now get off of me first.
Well, he should be very proud. A good opening round for Lamar Parks. David Parks said that his son Lamar is his best friend. He said we used to study together after school. After the studying was over, then we would pack our bags and go to the gym every day.
Well, they're looking to join Pat and Sean O'Grady and Floyd Patterson and Tracy. Father-son combination, world champions. But David Parks doesn't want Lamar to sit back. Wants him to get off first. Wants to see him a little more aggressive. His son, one of the devastating punchers. His last opponent, Jose Lopez, who went down in 1 round, said that Lamar punches like a mule. I just wonder if that's based on first-hand experience. If it is, I think he needs a new matchmaker.
First experience, Al. He said in that fight that he threw probing shots just to see how Lopez would react. Then he finally wobbled him with one of the probing shots. Then he decided to close it. So this is a kid who Lamar can turn it up when he needs it or turn it down. And as he showed us that in the opening round.
Parks does not have the experience against the top fighters as does Reggie Johnson, but Parks kind of poo-poos it. He says, hey, Johnson has fought who? Tony and Steve Collins. But that's just it.
That's a good point, but that is why, in my estimation, Johnson has a little bit of an edge. He has a little bit of an advantage. To get into that upper echelon of any division, you have to fight somebody that's in there already. Reggie Johnson has already fought people in that upper division. Lamar Parks has not.
Oh, Johnson catches Lamar Parks on the rebound after Parks had swirled and slipped. Well, actually, that's 2 more championship fights than Parks has fought, world championships. Parks, former USBA and NABF champ, and 24 rounds. So Johnson knows what this whole atmosphere feels like, and Parks now in the backyard of the champion, fighting for the first time for a world championship. But now Parks trying to pick up the pace here in round #2 with less than a minute to go. Both great amateurs. Parks 175 wins against 13 losses, 5 South Carolina Golden Gloves championships. Reggie Johnson, who lost his first 4 amateur fights, didn't turn him away from boxing, went on to win 96 of his next 104, went all the way to the Olympic trials in '84 before he lost to another Houston fighter, Frank Tate, the eventual gold medalist.
And he is a very determined person. He said way back then when he first started boxing, he said, I can someday be the world champion. He lost those first 4, then he finally won one. He said, hey, I like this. I don't want to lose anymore. It's no fun to lose. The problem that you have when fighting the left-handed fighters is your front feet continually get tangled up. There's a good look at how those front toes get webbed into one another. Here's a look at it overhead. See how Parks is stepping on the toe of Johnson? Now, you can use that to your advantage. You step on your opponent's toe, and then you hit him, and sometimes the referee will think it's a good shot, and the judges think it's a good shot, and they think he's staggered. But you have to be careful that he's not doing that back to you.
Lamar Parks is in there against one of the better conditioned fighters in the gym, Reggie Johnson, all business. Likes to think of himself as perpetual motion in the ring. Making his first title defense against the frisky Lamar Parks, who is a very entertaining fighter. He goes in there to take out his opponent, has a killer instinct that has resulted in 18 knockouts in his 22 straight wins as a pro.
Very entertaining. And look at this strength here in the third round from him. Look at the upper body strength. He is trying to muscle around Johnson in this round, and that could be a problem later in this fight, provided it goes later.
Lamar Parks, in studying some tapes of Reggie Johnson, says that Johnson, during the course of a fight, leaves himself open, and perhaps that is a reason why Parks has been so patient. In his last fight against Percy Harris, another cagey veteran who gave Parks a lot of trouble, Parks thought that that's where he got his most experience. He got hit by Harris. He said he got hurt, but he came back very strong. But in that fight, he got hit a lot because he was looking for the big punch, and he took a lot of punishment trying to land the big blow. He got careless.
Oh, you can get so tied up in reading the headlines. He said that he learned in that fight that he should have cut off the ring more and go down to the body more. Those body shots will take it out of your opponent for those later rounds.
Inside the final minute of round number 3.
Lamar Parks has fought only one other southpaw as a pro, that Chris Sandy back in April of '90. He said, I can fight better going backwards, and that's the way that he won that fight. Chris Sandy, incidentally, is a former stablemate of Reggie Johnson. Now, there's what Johnson needs to get going. Get that right jab going, and then move to your right. Against the left-handed fighters, a right-hander will have to continually reset. See how Johnson gets behind him now. You can't throw your right hand because it won't reach. You have to reset that back foot to throw the right hand, and when you do, your opponent's gone. He's around behind you. Okay.
From the roof cam here at the Summit in Houston, Texas.
That's a great shot when you're talking about southpaw fighters, because you can see how their front feet commingle, how the front feet continue to meet. There it is, again, stepping on each other's toes. You've got to be careful of that. It is so hard to break out of the habit of. When you're fighting a left-hander, if you can step to the side more and not right straight ahead, you'll miss their foot. Good combinations, both of them, hard shots. Parks is really putting his shoulders into these punches.
Johnson staying, Sean, in punching range for Parks.
Right, but he continues to move, and he's doing so for a wise reason. He realizes early in the fight, Parks is going to be stronger.
Reggie Johnson taking some big punches. He has never been stopped in a fight. He has been down twice in a couple of his USBA fights against Ismael Negron. He later came back and stopped Negron in the 11th. Went on to win the USBA title. Then he had 3 defenses over the course of 4 months. And he was down against Eddie Hall in his final defense, coming back to stop Hall in the 10th round.
And he said in that Negron fight, he got hit with a sneak right hand. Against the left-handed fighters, they're susceptible to a straight right and a left hook because of the way they stand. And that worked for Negron that day. We talked about the Steve Collins fight. Funny thing happened in that match. He said that the promoter did not want to have the fight in Ireland with Collins because of the Irish crowd. He was afraid that it would turn hostile. He'd be a hostile environment. So they decided to bring the fight to New Jersey. Well, Reggie says that there were more Irish people in New Jersey than there were in Ireland.
So why don't you fight there more?
He says it's like they took Ireland and put it in Rutherford, East Rutherford, New Jersey. Heavy shots. Now Reggie is setting down more on his punches. The first 3 rounds, he told me those are throwaway rounds. So professional boxing doesn't start until the 4th. And here we are in the 4th.
Johnson feels he should own 2/3 of the middleweight crown. He does own the WBA and the victory over Collins. And then the controversial split decision loss to James Toney back in June of '91, in which Johnson had Toney down in the 2nd round. His only other loss was back in his 7th fight when it was all getting started against a guy by the name of Adam George. The only 2 losses for Johnson. Round number 5, the WBA Middleweight Championship. The Summit in Houston, Texas. Reggie Johnson, the champion in the weight, fighting before the hometown crowd against Lamar Parks, the undefeated youngster. And he takes a